From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm David DeForest reporting. Iraqi forces shelled areas outside of Mosul Monday. The offensive to retake the city from Islamic State militants is in its second week, and the attacks were focused near the town of Bartella as Iraqi and Kurdish fighters moved closer to Mosul. Human Rights Watch is calling for an investigation into an airstrike last week that killed at least 13 people at a mosque near the city of Kirkuk. That strike came during an assault by Islamic State fighters. A U.S. military spokesman said the coalition had determined its forces were not responsible for the airstrike. France's interior minister says the evacuation of refugees from a squalid camp near Calais is taking place calmly. Officials hope to relocate 2,500 people to temporary shelters by the end of the day. This African migrant, it says, leaving the camp is not an entirely happy experience.
It is really hard because we have found some good friends over here and now we may be apart after this, so it is hard.
Workers will begin soon dismantling the wood and tarp shantytown dubbed the Jungle. Migrants, mainly from Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Iraq, had remained in the camp for months, a situation that became symbolic of Europe's larger migrant crisis. Cross-border firing between India and Pakistan in the contested region of Kashmir has killed at least 3 people. Indian police sources say a young boy was killed and 4 civilians wounded Monday by gunfire and shelling by Pakistani border guards. Pakistan's military says Indian troops fired across the de facto border in the disputed area Sunday, killing 2 Pakistani civilians and wounding 7. For more, check our website, voanews.com. This is VOA News. The opening of China's Central Committee plenum Monday marked the beginning of a high season of political activity in the country. The meetings will last 4 days this week, but come at the start of a political transition in China that culminates next year with the 19th Party Congress. At a closed-door meeting this week, Chinese President Xi Jinping is expected to make clear that his anti-corruption drive is far from over and that controls will continue to tighten. The World Meteorological Organization reports the level of carbon dioxide emissions in the atmosphere has reached a record high this year. Lisa Schlein reports.
The World Meteorological Organization reports the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere reached 400 parts per million for the first time in 2015 and surged to new records this year. WMO Secretary General Bartella says this symbolic but significant milestone bodes ill for the planet as these CO2 emissions will stay in the atmosphere for generations.
At the moment, we are not moving in the right direction. We are actually moving in the wrong direction.
Meteorologists say CO2 accounts for 65% of the warming effect on our climate. Lisa Schlein, Geneva.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump accused Democrats Monday of making up phony opinion polls to make it look as if Democrat Hillary Clinton is ahead in the race. Trump told a group of Florida farmers he is actually the one in the lead.
And watch the polls, because this is part of the crooked system. It's part of the rigged system that I've been talking about since I entered the race. I understand it. It's a rigged system.
Trump produced no evidence, though, to support his claim. Meanwhile, Clinton campaigned in the northeastern state of New Hampshire.
All this talk about the election being rigged, trying to stir up people who are supporting him at his rallies, that is a direct threat to our democracy.
One opinion poll released Sunday by ABC News indicates Clinton has surged ahead of Trump 50 to 38%. Gunmen stormed a Pakistani police training complex in Quetta Monday, killing at least 25 police trainees and an officer and wounding more than 80. The gunmen reportedly seized an unknown number of hostages. Pakistani troops and commando units swiftly surrounded the facility to confront the gunmen. No one has claimed responsibility. Indian police say they killed at least 18 Maoist rebels Sunday in a gunfight in the eastern part of the country. It was one of the deadliest fights with the rebels this year. Police say the shootout began after authorities received a report that about 30 Maoist rebels were assembling in forests near the border of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh states. From the VOA News Center in Washington, I'm Dave DeForest.
That's the latest world news from VOA.